Hello, I'm Benjamin Lee. I work for Texas Instruments DLP division. I work for the embedded group. I would like to demonstrate today the Discovery 4100.55 XGA kit, what comes in the box, and how to assemble and make sure that the kit is working properly. There are two other kits available, the 0.7 XGA Type A and the 1080p Type A also. Before we start, let's make sure to put on our ESD strap. When you first open your box, you will find a paper showing you how to access the knowledge base. We'll set that aside for the moment, and we'll set aside the first layers of wrapping. And you'll immediately see a DMD assembly packet, D4100 mainboard packet, and a power supply packet. Let's go ahead and take out the power supply packet and set it aside. And there's also a pigtail for using a bench supply. We'll set that aside also. We'll take out the D4100 main board and set that on the table. The 0.55 XGA assembly, and set that on the table. And underneath that you will find a static bag with a flex cable or cables if you have a 1080p kit. We're going to go ahead and remove the flex cable and set it aside and its bag. Then remove your main board and unwrap it from its static bag. Mine has already been previously opened. Yours should have a anti-static sticker seal that you will have to break, and the same is also true for your DMD assembly. In this case, the 0.55 Type X XGA. We'll also remove that assembly and place it on the mat. This is a 1080p style satellite board. It has two connectors. Unlike the XGA, which has one connector, we'll set that aside. And this, of course, is the one that came with our kit. You'll notice this side is the connection side. Take the flex cable that you removed from the bag earlier. On the back you will find these metal backers with insulative material on them. You will need to remove those backers in order to assemble the board. Go ahead and do that at this time. If you look carefully at the cable, you'll see at one end a label and the other end says DMD end. If you look at your D4100 board, you'll find two connectors labeled Flex 1/XGA and Flex 2. For the XGA kit, we will be connecting to this connector and will not use the second connector. For a 1080p kit, you would connect both cables, one to each of these connectors. Be sure to connect the end with the label at the board, in this case to the Flex 1/XGA slot. Notice I've inserted it in, and there are some alignment guide pins that go through holes. Be sure to place your backer to align with those holes and align the screw holes. You'll have to hold the backer on for a moment in order to get the screws started, and be sure to tighten them back and forth evenly until fairly firm, but not too tight. Similarly, for the satellite board, we will place the connector through the holes and then put on the backer so that it aligns with the alignment pins and with the screws, and again holding it on so that we can start the screws. We get the screws started, again tightening them back and forth firmly, but don't over tighten. Now take your power supply packet and open it, and in your power supply packet you will find a pigtail for the power supply itself. You'll find the power supply brick with the DC output cable, and again notice this is a round cable with a small hole, but the connector on the board is a modular. You should also have a power cord that goes to the wall. I'm going to go ahead and plug the power cord into the wall, and we'll plug the other end of the power cord into the brick itself, and when you do so you should get a light indicating that you have power at the brick. The kit has a switch at the far end of the board away from the connector for the power supply, and that switch will control the power for the board. And we will go ahead and disable the power for the moment by pulling the switch out towards the outside of the board. Take the pigtail from the little packet and plug it into the power supply here. And now the modular supply goes onto the board with the clip towards the inside of the board and the flat side towards the outside edge of the board. You can switch the switch on and you'll see that these two lights should turn green, this light should flash, and this light should be solid green. That means power is good. This means that the program is running, and each of these have received their programming from the EEPROMs. Then you should be able to observe on the surface of the DMD different patterns that are running in the default apps FPGA code. In the next video, we will show you how to connect the USB connector and connect to your PC so that you can run the Discovery Explorer 4100 software. Thank you for joining us, and I hope this session was helpful to you. If you need further information, please contact your reseller or contact us at dlpdiscovery.com.